all of these quadratic equations that we've been looking at, if you were to graph them, form parabolas like we looked at last week. So this U shape is the parabola. So on the parabola, these x-intercepts are a big part of what we're doing. So the x-intercepts, different names for those are the roots, the zeros, or the solutions. So those points, the roots, are the points on the graph where y equals 0. So when they give you a quadratic equation like this, if they ask you to graph it, something that would help you is knowing what those x-intercepts or roots are. So what you would do is you plug in 0 for y and then solve for x. Or if they just had given you an equation with 0 equals, it's kind of similar, we looked at in our last set. So we add 4 to both sides. So x squared equals 4. Once again, to get rid of the squared, we're going to square root. So x is going to equal 2 and also negative 2. So graphically what this means is if I were to graph this parabola at 2 and at negative 2, we would have x-intercepts. And since the number in front of x is positive, it's just a positive x squared, we know it's opening up. So that's a rough sketch of what this parabola would look like. What about if the parabola has no x-intercepts at all? Because every time we solve, like for example, when we solved this set, if this had been a y equals equation, that parabola also would have had intercepts at 2 and negative 2. We haven't come across one that didn't have an answer yet. So looking at this parabola never crosses the x-intercept. So in an equation, the way I could tell that is if I plug in 0 for y, and then I subtract 4 on both sides. This is similar to the last one, but a little bit different. We've got negative 4 equals x squared. So when you take the square root, can you take the square root of a negative number? Is any number squared going to equal negative 4? Like negative 2 squared. Will that equal negative 4? No, that equals 4. So you cannot take the square root of a negative number, so that's going to be no solution. So anytime you're solving these equations and you get square root, so let's see if I can see a quick example. So this one, if you'd solved it, you would have had square root of a negative number, so that would be no solution as well. So when you're solving with square roots and you get square root of a negative number, it's going to be no solution because there's no x-intercepts.